Hi guys, and welcome to another Guild Wars 2 video. We're going to talk about some of the new Thief speculation for the new expansion, which is the second after the one following Heart of Thorns. So there will be some spoilers, and I am going to be discussing some leaks, so if you're going to try and avoid all of that kind of stuff until it's officially released or can be confirmed, then you should probably click off the video, whatever, pause it. Now's your chance. But yeah, with that said, let's get into it. So the Thief is highly anticipated to get the rifle, similar to how it was speculated in the last expansion for Heart of Thorns. But of course, after a couple of images that were data mined, as well as like the Thief getting the staff, etc., yeah, the Daredevil had the staff, which, don't get me wrong, is probably still my favourite new weapon for the Thief itself, compared to all of the other classes. Personally, I really like the flavour of the Daredevil. However, there are a few niggling issues that kind of annoys me about it. For example, just the kind of stupid hammer animation when you're running along holding it. I think it was very rushed, and they didn't even get their own attacking animation that was unique until just before the expansion launched. Should also note that they got physical skills as well as the staff. That was the new utility skill tree that they gained access to. This was taken from the warrior. They usually get physical skills. I'm not sure if off the top of my head if there are any more classes that get physical stuff, but yeah, that's what the Daredevil got. So if we're thinking about what the new Thief will get with the rifle, of course we won't be able to use the Daredevil stuff. You won't get access to the third dodge, the traits, or physical skills. So all of that is out of the window because you can only have one elite specialization at a time. So what have they got already? Well, they've got access to signets, traps, venoms, tricks, and deceptions. These are all fairly useful, especially venoms. They're probably the most useful in a group position. However, they all have their own uses. Personally, I probably use the tricks and traps the least, I suppose. No, actually, would it be a signet? I don't know. But yes, they're all used. So what could they potentially get with this new rifle specialization, which, by the way, is called the Deadeye? My personal speculation, it could possibly be survival skills, coming from the Ranger, which has stuff like Quickening Zephyr, grants quickness, lightning reflexes, which gives a dodge back and damages foes. However, what my money would be on is to be something like gadgets. Something from the engineer skill set. They've got turrets, elixirs, weapon and device kits, and gadgets. So turrets would be a cool idea, don't get me wrong. It would be like a reconnaissance theme, you know, radar, orbital strike, sniper spotter, that kind of thing. It's unlikely elixirs would be used, even though it would be kind of a cool spy theme. You know, it's kind of like Martini style, Elixir S or whatever, Elixir M, that kind of thing. That would be pretty fun. However, it's more of like a mad science type thing. Weapon and device kits are along the same lines as like the turrets. It's a really cool theme, and would also add another class that relies on kits to deal damage, because currently only the engineer has them. Of course, there are summoned weapons, you know, like the elementalist gets to use and that sort of thing, but they're not the same as kits. Kits you can swap in and out of on an extremely short cooldown, which is like a second and a half, 2 seconds at most. Whereas with like a summoned weapon like the Flame Axe or Lightning Hammer, it's on a cooldown, kind of not so cool. But then again, it could be like that, you know. Perhaps you do get like a Vox pack or something, and you can cool down an orbital strike every, I don't know, 30 seconds or whatever. That'd be pretty cool, don't get me wrong. However, it is also very unlikely due to covering up weapons and skins. Now, a lot of the community obviously treat Guild Wars as fashion wars, which is highly understandable, and engineers don't particularly enjoy the fact that, you know, they grind out, especially for legendaries and things like that, and then they're unable to see the skins because they're constantly covered up by, say, like the flamethrower, the grenade kit, etc, etc. So it's unlikely it's going to be that, and it wouldn't be a particularly smart move by ArenaNet to do that either, especially if they want people to continue playing and working towards something, or, you know, selling gem store skins. So one of the things that comes to mind with the weapon kits and things like that, kind of like a sniper weapon, or maybe grenade and bomb kits, very similar to Engia's. But moving away from that, the one that I think works the best would be gadgets. And, you know, like cool spy stuff or whatever, anything ranging from combat stimulants, which is more of like the elixir thing, but not quite the elixir thing, and also just leaves the most room for interpretation. You know, perhaps buffing stealth, so like how the Scrapper had drones to fly around and grants stealth and stuff like that. Perhaps the Thief will finally be able to, well, actually no, they do get Shadow Refuge and stuff like that, but, you know, like an enhanced camouflage or whatever. It's the gadget, like a stealth cloak, or you know, healing grenades and things like that, which I will kind of reference later on in the video of why I would like something like healing grenades. But yeah, I think personally gadgets, out of all of the classes, would be the thing, hopefully, that is traded across to this new specialization, the Deadeye. So what is a Thief currently good at? In my eyes, mostly PvE at the moment. It's also very good in PvP, depending on how you trait and also what weapons you've got. I mean, it's the same for all classes, but, you know, it's basically dagger, pistol, and or staff, and then probably a second weapon set, which is most likely the same as the first weapon set, but you get access to the extra sigils and things, so it, you know, procs or whatever, or it's a short bow. Let's be honest. But they are best as well. They actually do very well in Condi now as well. They've been not so great at that, mostly a power build because of like dagger or whatever. But they're both viable now with power and Condi. It's high single target damage, high mobility, moderate group stealth with like Shadow Refuge, but generally that might be a wasted slot if you're playing something like raids or anything PvE based, I guess. It's pretty good in PvP. It's actually quite powerful actually, but you know, that's pretty good. Venom sharing and blinds. Venom sharing is very, very good. That's the most recent change that has happened to the Thief and Daredevil on the whole. Basically allows you to share like stuns and things. It's used within Condi builds more so than it is power, but it is still exceptionally strong. So with Condi, it's AoE in melee, which is kind of a shame. But now that they've got the short bow and the changes to that with choking glass and things like that, they can still apply a lot of pressure from range now, which is always nice. Also gives the short bow more use other than just teleporting around the map, because that was all it was used for before. It wasn't really that great, or perhaps, you know, shooting a dude to tag it. Of course, it also got quite enough in PvP because of the range for choking gas and the amount of dazes it would push out. But yeah, so that's pretty good. Of course, the Thief only has up to a 900 range weapon. None of the others are above that. They are all melee or 900, along with the pistol, which is currently mostly about power. Used to apply bleeds and stupid crap like that. They also changed unload, which was awesome, by the way, especially for doing fractals and things. Now that we've had a look at, or kind of discussed a little bit about why the Thief is good and where it kind of sits at the moment, what kind of stuff is it lacking? And that's where I would have to say that it severely lacks group synergy. Of course, like I just said about Venom sharing, that was to give it a bit more synergy within a group. But currently that's basically it, apart from maybe Shadow Refuge, so you can go stealth your friends and res them. Aside from that, there is no real utility to taking them. Yes, they have very high damage, but do you really want super high damage and it'd be really squishy and kind of rely on other people to help keep your class alive? If you want to look at other group synergy stuff, it's like buff traits like spotter, strength and numbers, something that pushes out to the rest of the grade group, be that in PvE or PvP. Low health, squishy like I said, it makes you die quickly, and they lack the 1200 range weapon. Most other classes have the ability to hit from such a long range. You know, even engineers can spec their grenade kits to hit 1200 range, which is crazy. The Thief has never had this. It's just relied on the ability to get from A to B as quickly as possible, which they can do very well. Granted, but it's not the same as having a 1200 range weapon, which the rifle will give us. So, in terms of speculation now, ANET have gone for more of a slightly harder trinity than it was before, Heart of Thorns, and I'm hoping they carry on the trend of adding, you know, more specific group roles. So by that I mean DPS, tanks and healers. Now, you're probably thinking, how can a thief be a tank or a healer or anything but a DPS? And I kind of want to show you some really cool ways of like spinning that ideology on its head, and hopefully ANET are going to look at the thief and think, oh, we tried to reinvent the wheel all the time, why not do it again? We've got the monk type thing, you know, the martial artist with a staff, that's pretty cool. Why not go the opposite direction and go for more high tech with the rifle, which they've done, but why not make it a healer? This isn't an uncommon theme, especially of recent years. If you think of Overwatch, there is Anna, who is a sniper, should be on the screen right now, which is able to shoot both enemies and allies, and it will either deal damage or it will heal them. It will also gain the ability to, you know, add quickness and reduce amount of damage, you know, through protection, for example, being able to push out that. Be nice to have some sort of group trait, you know, like strength in numbers, where you can push out, you know, higher precision or perhaps better ferocity, better healing power maybe, I don't know. That would be pretty good. I'd really enjoy seeing that. Other MMOs, for example, Star Wars The Old Republic, the Trooper, which is the heavily armoured range class, can spec to either be damage or a tank, or through the other elite specialisation they can either be a damage or a healer themselves. The healer gets access to a minigun and things like that. When I took a break from Guild Wars 2 and was playing a little bit Star Wars The Old Republic with a friend, that was a class I played, apart from the Inquisitor, the lightning dude for the Sith Inquisitor. Yeah, Sith Inquisitor, but the one with the healing and the lightning, which was like fucking amazing. Yeah, so something like that would be really cool. There's also the Chloromancer from Rift Online. That dude is the mage. The mage is able to damage enemies and take their life force and put it into their allies. What better way for a thief to heal their friends is to deal damage, much like the Signet of Malice. However, the rifle is usually a single target weapon. Maybe they'll get access to an AoE weapon, because if you are meant to be healing by dealing damage to other people, you need to be able to stack dots on lots of multiple things, unless you could do really high damage, in which case the healing will be extremely bursty, which is not really seen anywhere in Guild Wars at the moment, except for maybe Ventari Revenant at the moment, which is pretty cool. Really enjoyed playing that in World vs World, but I doubt the Thief will, well, the Deadeye will get anything like that. So the easiest battlefield role that you could find for a Deadeye sniper type character is DPS. It's very generic, kind of commando, you know, sit in a bush. Maybe, you know, if you stay still in a specific spot, you know, you get stealth for a few seconds, or you gain bonuses, much like Killshot Warrior, which again used to play that a lot in World vs. World around about the time I launched, you know, within the first year. That was amazing. That was like by far my favourite spec of all time. Sadly, it's not so good. It's not so good anymore, but whatever. Hopefully the Deadeye can bring that back. Just sitting on the back line and taking people out. So yeah, I mean, I don't really want to discuss too much about that because it's going to be fairly generic anyway. When you think of sniper, you just think of a dude that camps and is fairly irritating, and the thieves are kind of looked down upon at the moment because of that anyway. So yeah, I don't really know. The last one is tank. This is probably the least likely of the three, if I'm honest. The trooper again from Star Wars The Old Republic, that dude can also tank. It's pretty cool using a rifle, you know, grenades, using a lot of blinds, which obviously the thief has currently got a lot of access to through pistols, as I imagine that's going to be the second weapon set that's going to be used. If the rifle is an AoE weapon, for example, then you can use that from long range, you know, like a mortar kit or whatever, and then swap to your high single target damage with dual pistols, for example. Access to loads of blinds all over the place, being able to teleport about, be quite nice, group stealth thing, you know, all that good stuff. So yeah, maybe it can be a tank, or maybe they won't do any of this because they hate the community and they don't want to do raids or anything else like that, or World vs. World, etc. So in solo play, I feel like the Deadeye will be more reliant on other people to play. Who knows? I mean, it could, depending on how they synergize with the traits, you know, being able to stealth a lot more. It could be quite a good ambusher class, even if it's using something like daggers, for example. Being able to just lie in wait where you know players are going to come along, and then just being able to, you know, stab them in the back or whatever. That would be pretty good. In PvE, you know, that could also potentially be quite useful. Stacking on a boss, staying still for a little bit, getting access to a free stealth every 3 seconds or whatever. Might be a little bit strong, but you know, it could really tip the balance in some areas of the game. Like I said, I think it's more towards group stuff, and that's where I want it to go, because you know the Scrapper made the Engineer a lot better in PvP, sorry. And all of the other classes were kind of geared towards more of a certain angle in the game. Tempest was more of a support character. The Berserker gave the Warrior really good condition damage. Also very good group support through Phalanx Strength, which then got an extra buff through that. The Revenant became a healer through Herald, or you know, very, very strong support character, just boons all over the place. That's kind of what I want to see here with the Deadeye. The Thief can do pretty much everything at the moment. I'd still like a high skill cap on it, being such a squishy character, but yeah, support, that's what we want. Go for it, do it. I want to know what your kind of opinions on that are. So don't forget to pop them in the comments section below. That would be amazing. What do you think about the healing kind of thing, or perhaps a tank, or do you just want to go for your standard old DPS, you know, camping style thing? I really want to see Deadeye. I hope ANET do something. I'm going to say it again a million more times. But thank you very much for watching. Again, don't forget to let me know what you think, because I'm excited. I want to discuss these kinds of things. There should be some more videos on other ones. It's just they're taking a little bit while for me to create. But yeah, thanks very much for watching, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video.